family, and welcome to the Queen's Court, where we talk about the Knicks. You know, the last week's games, upcoming games, and we also talk about any major storylines related to the Knicks. Um, it's about to go down. I mean, the
Yes,
preseason
yes.
is over. We're gonna play Boston. Then we got a home and away with Orlando. We're gonna talk about that some. I mean, the
Yes,
preseason
yes.
is over. I'm
We're
joined
gonna play
today by
Boston.
Chris. Hopefully, Tony and Josh will be able to join us later. If not, we got this. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button so you'll be notified anytime anything goes live on this channel. If you've been rocking with us for a little bit, you already know we do the pregame, postgame, morning shoot around for every Knick game. You'll be notified whenever the Queen's Court go live. You'll be notified whenever the controversy goes live. Shout out to all the Knick content creators. Season is about to start. It's nothing but love for everybody. So let's get this started. Let's bring in Chris. And like I said, Tony and
It's about
Josh,
to start.
it's nothing but love for everybody. So
Let's
let's
get
hold
this
on.
started.
I'm getting some back. Hold on. Let me see where that might be coming from.
So let's get
Hold
this
on.
started.
I'm getting some back.
Yeah.
Let me see where that might be coming from. I'm not sure. Okay. Chris, if you have the chat on the other panel, if you
Mm-hmm.
can mute it.
How
Okay.
I can do that?
Just tap the
Chris,
screen and then mute it because it's coming through.
All right.
All
Is
right.
that good?
I believe so.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, technical difficulties, but it's live. It happens. It happens that way. All right, Chris, how you doing? Before we get into the preseason, how's everything?
I'm good. I'm excited. Want to see what's going on this year with our Knicks.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. So last week we came into the season, into the preseason 2-0, right? We beat Indiana, we beat Washington. This week, since the last time we aired, we played Detroit, we played Washington. Talk to me a little bit. Let's pull up the Detroit slide from last week, and if there's anything that stands out um, for that game. All right. Okay, here we go. All right. So we beat Detroit 108 to 100. We took 33 three-pointers. We hit 13 of them. We shot 39.4%. I don't know what the league average is in preseason, but usually 39.4% is pretty good for three-point
Yeah.
shooting. We continued with players in double figures. We had 5 players in double figures.
Yes.
We still the fast break. We're gonna talk about this a little bit later when we get into the advanced stats. Fast break points still. We had 6. They had 10. Our pace has come down a little bit, but we'll talk about that. Points in the paint, 36 to their 44. Second chance point, pretty even, 15 to 17. Noel was out. Mitch was out. Kemba was out. Randall came up big for us, 28, 20. What is that? 29 points,
29.
11 rebounds, 5 assists, and shot 78% in the second half. RJ didn't shoot well, but he had 7 rebounds, 6 assists. It seemed like a long time ago, but this what stood out to me in that game was how in the first half it seemed like it was just equal opportunity offense. We were
Yeah.
a bit sluggish. Things wasn't really happening. I'm sure the way Tibbs would like it to happen. And then that second half, Randall just showed himself. And I know some people were saying that, oh, here he goes again, slowing down the offense, but we needed it. We were going nowhere fast in that game. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I said the same thing as far as him, taking over and trying to get us back in the will to win. He did slow the ball down a little bit, but like you said, we needed it. So listen, We got the win. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that's all that matters. But I just looking at this game and looking at the last game with Washington, I just don't want us to become a second half playing team. It seemed like we had more fight in the second half than we did in the first.
Yeah, but I think we were scrambling trying to get back. So I think you're right, getting out to these slow starts. Washington, we won that game at the buzzer. Julius Randle,
Mhm.
42 threes in that game. We hit 15 of them for 35.7%. Four players were in double figure. One player had nine, another one had eight. So we're moving the ball around. We're sharing
Yeah,
the ball. Um, Rose played 29 minutes to Kimber's 19 and a half, 20 minutes. And we'll talk about that a
yeah,
little later. Noel was still out. Noel did not play in the
yeah,
preseason. Mitch played. That was his first game back. We'll talk a little bit about him.
yeah,
Burke was out. And I think Burke being out opened, some playing time for Grimes. And it remains to be seen, what does that say anything about Knox, or did Tibbs just, want to give Grimes a look? And
yeah.
Rose was big,
He was.
big for us. I think that's 28 points. Let me move this so I can see it a little better. But anyway, he had like 28 points. And he pretty much kept us in that game
He did.
until, down the stretch, other players began to hit shots. What do you talk to me a little bit about Washington?
Mm. Well, we were at the game, so I think we both were wondering what happened to Bill because he
Right,
didn't come back in the second half. So we found out later he had like a knee contusion. But Washington was still scrappy. I mean, they were testing us, especially their bigs as far as the rebounding and the second chance shots. They were really giving us a run for our money, and Taj, he put us in a little situation because he had a lot of fouls early. So Tibbs had to wind up going with a smaller unit towards the end, which probably showed us what Obi is about.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, in that game as well. And I'm not sure if it was out of necessity. Mitch
yeah,
was back, and well, let's start with that before we even get into the small ball lineup. I thought Mitch looked okay. For
yeah. He did.
somebody who hadn't played since March, he was very active on
Mm.
the balls. He kept falling down a little bit, but I mean,
He
I
do that
guess
all the time, Steph. You just probably just noticing it. He always on the floor.
but he played hard out there,
He
and
did.
his presence defensively and offensively
Yes.
changes things for us. I mean, he had 9 rebounds, 6 of them were offensive,
Yeah.
and I appreciate the offensive rebounds, but I really need him to become a little better with the defensive rebounds. But
Yes.
that's 6 second chance points for us. And
Yeah.
on offense, he's a vertical threat, and that means that the defense has to tend to him, has to stay back, and that gives us that in between, that middle of the key. If we can get in there, should be open for us. What do you think about Mitch?
I thought he was good. He looked a little winded sometimes, and I even said that to you. Like he looked like he need to sit down and get some air. Um, I thought like sometimes with on his lift, like he had a little problem. Maybe he was scared to jump and like land. I don't know, but he has some really good dunks. So then that kind of threw that thought out the way. I just thought that maybe he was just trying to play his way back. You know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm glad he's back though. I was surprised.
Me too.
I thought he would miss like the first, I don't know, few games of the season at least. So to have him back before Noel, even, I was surprised, but extremely happy. Tibbs said in the preseason that he didn't really like the small ball lineup last year. So I didn't think he would go back to it. He did. I'm not sure how much of it was out of necessity because Sims was there. He just didn't play. And how much of it was that he wanted to give it a look. What do you think about it?
That was a question we were asking because when Todd's fouled out, we thought maybe Mitch, but I guess he was. I don't know if he was on a minute restriction or he just looked like he was just ready to just sit down. He had enough for the day. But I really liked what Randall and Obi gave. They were very energetic. They was active on the rebounds and playing defense. Um, I'm not sure if it's something he gonna go with, but I would like to see it a little bit. I'm for my boy Obi, so if he gets some time to play and show out, then I'm happy about that. But he played some quality minutes, and I was impressed.
Yeah, definitely. The thing that allows it to be playable is that Obi's defense has improved tremendously.
Yes, definitely.
Tremendously. And so you're already at a disadvantage when you move Randall to the five. And Randall seemed like he just losing weight and getting thinner and thinner every time. Every time I see him, people talk about he needs to go into the post more. I just feel like he's thinning out. So I don't even know if he's going to be
Yeah,
able to handle
yeah.
himself down there.
But he's strong though. He's
He
strong though.
is. He
He's
is. He
strong.
is. And it does give us that mismatch. It gives us
It
the
does
mismatch, and he took advantage of it. Gafford,
definitely.
he didn't have a prayer. He could have got any shot he wanted. He took the fade away, but if he wanted, he could have went to the basket and got five. He
Yeah,
could have did it whatever he wanted. There was no way Gafford would have been able to help hold him.
yeah.
Um, and I think we need that. I think we need that for Randall. One of my concerns, if you want to call it a concerns, is I like motion offense. I like getting
Hmm.
everybody involved, but the downside of it is it's an equal opportunity offense,
Yes,
and so now people are getting touches and getting shots that you may not want to get the shot. So I feel like there needs to be motion, it needs to be unpredictable, but at the same time, your best players have to have the ball in their hand. This cannot be truly equal opportunity where wherever the ball lands, that's the person that takes the shot. I mean, you could
I
do
get
that
that.
you could do that for certain parts of the game, but it comes a time when the ball has to be in your best player's hand. And so I know some people I was reading on Twitter had problems with Randall kind of slowing the ball down in that Detroit game, but wasn't much happening.
Yeah,
Wasn't much happening, and he took it upon himself to kind of bring us back, bring us back into the game. And the same thing with Washington down the stretch, it could be equal opportunity up to a point. And after that, you got to get the ball into your better players' hands.
I get that. But I think against Washington, it just showed that it gave people opportunities to show what, if they have it to play in the fourth quarter. Grimes, uh, RJ, they hit some key shots. So I think that freed up Randall to do some of the things that he needed to do because they had to play honest D.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. One of the things that came out in the Washington game was Kemba did not get um, a lot of minutes
His defense
in the game.
sucks. That's why.
It did. But my thing is, you knew that when you brought Kimba in here.
Exactly. He plays
You,
that Matador D like Clyde said. He does.
but I think the effort is there. I just think he's just. I mean, whether it was what's the NATO,
Yeah.
whether it
Yeah.
was
He killed
Holiday,
him. He killed
whether
him.
it was
NATO Holiday.
Dinwiddie, so he's not a strong defensive player, but I don't think it's for lack of effort or lack of trying. But my question is, do you think this is something that Tibbs is going to keep up? Where if he's not playing good defense and get a lot of
I
minutes.
like we discussed earlier. I feel like in games where it's close, maybe a 5-4 3-point game down the line, I don't think we're gonna see Kimber. But if it's a situation where we're up or it's, back and forth or something, maybe. But I don't think it's from them close games. I don't think we're going to see him because, you want them stops. And if his man is going to the basket all the time, unless you play a matchup D where you kind of match up wherever the man is or something, I don't really know how we can really get
Hide
away
him.
with him playing. Yeah,
Yeah.
hide him in that last 2 3 minutes, especially in a close game.
See, I'm of the opinion that you knew who you were getting when you got Kimba.
Yeah,
And I'm okay if he doesn't close games because, you want to have your strong defensive players in there. I'm
hmm
okay with that. But I'm just hoping that Tibbs doesn't get into his little bag, his little defensive bag where he's not
you
playing.
already know it's a chance. Steph. Here's a
Right.
chance.
Where he's not playing you because you're not a great defensive player. And the next thing you know, he's averaging less than 20 minutes for the season. Or
I
he's
don't
in
know
that,
about that though. I think he's
but
gonna
that's
get his minutes, but I think also you got to protect the big man because our big man jump for everything. Look at Tars. You know what I'm saying? Every shot they want to block. So if you have somebody that can't stay in front of their man and get through, you leaving them as a liability to pick up unnecessary fouls. So I think in order to protect, our big man, he probably gonna at that down the line, he's gonna probably play somebody else.
that's okay. But my point is I feel like you just gotta live with his poor defense. I just feel like you gotta live with it and you gotta let him play because what he brings on the offensive end, I hope and I would put my money on it, it's gonna even out, if not be a plus. Even if he's not making his shots, you have to respect him, right? And when you respect him, that's opening up the offense, that's opening up the lanes for the rest of the team, right?
I'll take
If
that. I'll
if
take that.
Kemba is playing under 20 minutes a game, in my opinion, I don't think the Knicks ceiling is as high, right?
Yeah.
Just let me finish. I don't think the Knicks ceiling is as high. So I'm just hoping that that was just a one game thing. I'm okay if he doesn't close, but he has to get 20 or more minutes per game, in my opinion. And we just have to live with these defensive lapses, try to manage it as much as possible. Maybe don't play him like you said, Chris. Maybe not close with him, but he can't be in that Alfred Payton role 5 minutes in the first, 7 minutes, in the third. We just can't. I just think our ceiling is low, is lower if we do that. I just think we got to live and die with his poor defense.
So what if Tips was trying to save him? I mean, he does have knee problems. Maybe he was trying to save him. Like we really don't know what the situation was.
Right. Right.
Like I said, it looked like at some point in the, I think it was the third quarter, he looked like he went knee to knee with somebody. Maybe he,
Right.
felt a little tweak. We don't really know, and I don't think anybody spoke about it.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to Tibbs' interview. He didn't speak about the minutes. He didn't say anything like
Yeah,
that. Basically, what he was saying is that he wants Fournier and Kimba. He thought they were being too. Um, I don't. He didn't use the word passive, but like not wanting to step on people's toes. And basically, he
yeah.
wants them to be aggressive. He wants them to take the shots they would normally take. And basically, we're a better team when they do that, and we are.
And I
Um,
said that about Fournier. Like he felt like because there was a play where he had the shot, but he wanted to passing it to somebody on the wing, and I'm like, why he didn't shoot that?
right.
So I think I can definitely see where Tips would see that.
Right, definitely. And we'll see. We have 3 games coming up. And I just want to say to the fans also, we already know what Kimba is defensively, but we also know what he is offensively.
Yes,
And we're
buckets.
just gonna have to live with that, whatever it is, and do our best. I still think it's a plus, and I still think we need to play him over 20, 20, 24 minutes and not limit him because of his defense. Um, that's my opinion on Kim and his defense, and I know we're going to be talking about that um, throughout the season.
Of
Shout out
course.
to Jason. Kemba is going to be an upgraded Peyton. He doesn't look fluid in his movements yet. The knee isn't there yet.
Yeah, that's what I feel. That's probably why he didn't play the fourth quarter. Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like that was the case though throughout the season? throughout the preseason, that he
I just
doesn't look fluid.
I just think they're trying to save him, Steph. I just think they're not really trying to let him go. Just kind of like trying to get him, acclimated to playing again and at the speed. But I don't think they're trying to really let him loose. I mean, it might be a different story. The first game we'll have to see. But I just think that with Tibbs, you never know. Like his strategy is something when you thinking one thing, but he's thinking something else. So you never know. Maybe he just wanted to see how people would play in certain situations, so he'll know down the line like who he could trust in the game at that time. So I don't really know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. Shout out to the chat. Josh, if it's preseason and we're talking about Kimber's knees, that is a concern.
It is.
I don't know. For me, maybe it was his knee. My concern was I hope he's not limiting his minutes because of defense. We're gonna have to live with that. But maybe it was his knee. Um, Shout out to Ala Waz, Deron Wayne, Kerry Cox, Quiet Money, Frank Regina, all the usuals, and the new some I
Peace.
haven't seen in a while. Appreciate you. Sherwin M, David L. Appreciate all of you. Alawaz, y'all did see that crossover Kimber did to Holiday, right?
Yes.
Me look
He
good
broke
on
his
offense.
ankles. Broke his
Yeah,
ankles.
yeah, yeah. He did. That's what I'm saying. I'm not. I don't. I'm not even worried about him offensively. I'm with Tibbs. I want him to be more aggressive.
Yeah.
Take his shot. Be yourself. Don't try to. Don't try to fit in. I mean, don't go nut. But that's not his game anyway. And I'm not really worried. His defense is what it is. We're just gonna have to. We're just gonna have to live with it.
But I get it though. Coming into a team that was fourth place, went to the playoffs. They have these horses right now that's doing. You coming in, you want to kind of fit in. You don't want to take anything away. So I definitely get it. Where they were kind of timid, but it's time to play ball. It's time to play
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah. Just looking at the preseason as a whole, let's bring up the stats for the preseason. Let's see. We did this last week. We did this last week as well. All right. So while that slide is coming up, I'll just read it. I'll read it off.
Okay.
So in terms of points, we're averaging 116 points per game, which
Mm,
is which is fourth in the preseason. And I'm hoping that continues. We're shooting 41 3-pointers a game, which is six. In the season last season, we shot 30 a game, which was 27th out of 30
mm.
teams. Right now, we're six at 41 a game, and our
Okay.
efficiency is and we're still it's still good. Um, 38% for third in the league. So we're taking more, but we're making more. We're still keeping our efficiency.
Yeah.
Last year, we shot 39.2, right? So we were very efficient. We were very good percentage wise. We just didn't take enough. And
Yeah.
it's good to see that they're taking more and they're still keeping that good percentage. 38.4 is good. Our offensive rating is 113.4. Is that right? Yeah, which is second
Mm,
but behind, I want to say Brooklyn. But I mean, that's if we can be second in the league offensively, I'm okay with our defense taking a dip. We've talked about this a few times. Our defensive rating right now is 101.5, which is 10th, right? And the
mm.
net rating, the difference between our offense and defense is 12, right? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the offense and defense. Are you okay? I just want to get your opinion. I think everyone knows how I feel about it. Are you okay with our defense dropping a little bit if our offense is that much better?
Um, I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with that for the mere fact that we're scoring. because there was times last year that we had some issues with scoring, and then we would hit a big on a run. So
Mhm.
if we are able to spread it out and consistently score and not really lose too much on the defense, then I'm okay with that. But if we're scoring and they're scoring and it doesn't really show an advantage to us, then I probably have a issue with that. Because we
I-
can't trade baskets. That's something
Right.
that I don't really want to see us doing is trading baskets. We have enough defensive people or defensive minded people on this
Mhm.
team that we should be able to definitely slow some things down and make some stops. Um, I don't know. I think with Fournier, I think we're gonna definitely have some looks. I mean, you know, our rookie looks good, so um, I'm definitely looking forward. And Rose shot is falling very nice. I hope he
Right.
continues that as well. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Shout out Tony. Welcome.
Tony, what up, Tony?
Can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you. You guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we can
All
hear
Definitely
you.
hear
right.
you.
Peace, Queens. How y'all doing?
Pretty
Sorry
good.
I'm
Pretty
Good,
late.
we
good.
good.
Sorry
Nah,
I'm
you
It's
late.
good.
okay. We kept the lights on for you.
I
Yeah,
Um,
appreciate it.
well, I already
Well,
know how you feel about the difference between our offense and
the
defensive
defense.
rating, but I'm really interested in a point I made earlier. I don't know if you heard it about Kimber getting less minutes, and we don't know if it was just rest, if it was just you know um, a defensive thing. My take is we got to live and die with his defense. We already know what it is because what he's going to give us on offense, in my opinion, is going to outweigh that. And even if it's a bad shooting night, you have to respect him. So that just keeps things open in the paint. And I just feel, and I know a lot of Knick fans disagree with that. I just feel that if Kemba is averaging less than 20 minutes, he got 19.5. I just don't think the Knicks ceiling is as high. I don't think we're going to have as much success if he's not getting 23, 24, somewhat minutes, minutes a game. And I hear people say, oh, you know, we could, we got people that can step in, and we can for a game or two in the regular season. And in the playoffs, you need your dogs, you need your horses, and he's one of them. What's your take on that?
I'm kind of on the fence
Okay.
because uh, 19 minutes. I don't think he's going to average that, but I
Okay.
think there will be some some games where whether it's because of his defense, he may get less minutes some
Hmm.
games. I'm fine with that. I'm
Hmm.
fine with Tibbs holding everyone accountable.
Hmm.
We've seen it for the most part for everyone. Over last season, I think that trend continues. So if it's based off his play, I think there will be days that we see him play 19 minutes, maybe even 15 minutes. But there's gonna be games where he's on, where
Right.
he's on offensively, and he's gonna have we're gonna have to live with those little bit of defensive laps. Um, and I also think by mid-season,
Hmm.
not saying he's gonna become a all defender, but I think with Tibbs' schemes and Tibbs' philosophy, once he starts to pick up on that, I think it won't be such of a liability, you
Okay.
know. But
Hmm.
it's gonna take some time, maybe 20 games in, by then he'll be fully adjusted, and then the team defense will be able to pick up some of that slack that he has.
Definitely, definitely. So if I'm hearing you correctly, if his offense is on to kind of make up for his bad defense, then keep him in there, let him play. But if his defense is not great and he's not really on that day, that's a good time to sit him. Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm a little. I want to look, on this chart at the pace. Now, I didn't keep the first two games when we did pace, but the Knicks were up there. I want to say top 10. Since that time, if we're looking at the entire preseason, the pace is now 21st in the league, still up from last season when it was 30th.
Hmm.
do you think we're just regressing to the mean to what we're used to, and it's just that we're not used to it yet? Because even I'm not even hearing Tibbs as much saying move, move, move. That first two games, move, and it just looked like, well, I don't want to say roaches when you turn the light on, but everybody know what, like, people was just moving around, on offense. And the last two games, I saw less of that.
Mhm.
Those off the ball cutting, and keeping that movement off the ball. I saw less of that. Any concerns about the pace slowing down or not really?
No, I think last game in particular, we had lineups we never seen before. You know what I mean? We've
Mhm.
seen extended minutes with Randall
Yeah,
and
that's true.
and 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 Obi. We've seen
That's true.
Grimes get his first opportunity, like, or get some real minutes. So that may have been part of it.
Right.
But I think organically, without Tibbs implementing anything, I think the pace is going to increase
Mhm.
just organically. You got Obi who could run the floor. You got Kimba and Fournier who's gonna be looking up the court. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? As soon as they get the ball.
Right.
Who gave that full court pass in the preseason that we hadn't seen? Um, I don't
I
remember if
forgot.
it was RJ or not. But I think again, I think organically, 20 games in, we're gonna
Mhm.
start to see the real team,
Mhm.
the real structure, everything get fall into place. So
Right.
I'm not concerned with the pace at all. I think, like I said, I think it's gonna increase automatically. And then if he's implementing things, that should be even more of a plus.
Right.
So I'm not too concerned with it. I don't know where, like, not saying we're gonna be top 10 in pace, but I think
Right.
we could move from, what were we, 30th, 29th?
30th.
I I think
30th,
we
and then the preseason 21st.
I think we could end up around anywhere from 20 to 15 in pace, and
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I think that's a huge jump.
Okay. Okay. Anything you want to add to that, Chris, before we move on to bench scoring? You okay? I Can you
Oh
hear
no,
us?
yeah, I can
Okay.
hear you. I
Okay.
think I was muted. No, I think you
Okay.
guys are on point. Like I'm
Okay.
definitely looking forward them to moving up. Yeah.
Okay. And the bench scoring last season it was 12. This season it was, I mean, this preseason I should say, it's 22nd. I got to be honest, I don't really have any concerns
No.
about our bench scoring, regardless of what the rank is in the preseason. I think our bench is going to be strong, and right now you can argue that it's the strongest part of our team right now, because that
It is.
second team played together pretty much all last season, and that in the starting unit, Kimba has to get comfortable, Fournier has to get comfortable, and if Mitch starts, right? Mitch didn't even play most of the season. Um, any thoughts on that? Just, or do you agree that it's going to take some time for that starting unit to gel?
I, I think it is. I think we see it already. I don't think we've seen the best of Kimber for our
Yeah.
team in this,
I
4 games.
agree.
I don't think we've seen a glimpse of how good Fournier can be for us
Yes.
either. So and all those are positives.
Right,
We won the 4 games with neither one of those two guys at their best. You know what I
right,
mean? It wasn't any standout performances. It wasn't
right,
anything that was like, oh, I can't believe they dropped 30 or whatever the case. But
right.
both those guys are capable of it. And then the bench, I think we're a top 10 bench in the league.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
so and
And I
that
think
our bench has the most chemistry. Has more, what Tip said. Our bench is ahead of our starters as far as chemistry wise.
yes,
So
Yeah.
definitely. And then Mitch has something to prove because this is a contract year. He bulked up, so he's coming back off an injury. So I can't wait to see what he's gonna do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just excited that Mitch played. I was not expecting him for the first few games of the season.
He
So
looked good.
yeah, and he definitely looked good. Shout out to the chat. Kimba ain't the same. Now these are all the Knick fans that was so excited when Kimba got signed here. Shout out to Stephen Fox. Appreciate you, Foxy. Kimba ain't the same. Kimba. Listen, somebody says Trey sucks on defense, David L. And he does. But they still find a way to win basketball games, right? And they still find a way to be a very good defensive team and offensive team, at least when McMillan came. So I'm still encouraged. I'm still encouraged by that. There will still be um, a good defensive team. My issue with um, if Kimba's minutes is limited, I'm not sure Rose can play the minutes he's played in that what was that, the last Washington game,
Yeah, he played a lot.
82 game. Like I'm like it's it one thing affects the other.
Hmm.
And yes, quickly can come in, and yes, McBride can come in my opinion, is not the same.
It's not.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same.
I am
Said
starting to agree with you on that.
on what? Yeah.
As far as I was adamant like next man up. I
Mhm.
think we do need Kimba, at full strength for the majority of the season.
Yeah,
But that being said, I'm not opposed to resting him here and there, and you just mentioned Trey Young. For the most part, he's hitting on defense.
he
So
is.
Right.
if we have to do that with Kemba,
Right. Right.
let him guard the least valuable offensive player on the other team.
Yep.
That might help us in the long run.
I
Do y'all
agree.
think Tibbs gonna do minute management with Kimber?
He has to.
Hmm.
He has
I
to.
think I think so too.
Yeah, I think he has to. And whether it's from the minute management or defense, I don't think he's gonna be like 25, 28, 30. 30 minutes a game, and that bodes well for us. But I also don't want Tibbs to lean too heavily on Rose either. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think Rose can do, and I know there's one guy in the chat who's who think we undervalue Rose and how much he can play, but I don't think Rose can go 28, 30 minutes a game, uh, 82 games a
nah.
season. I mean, we leaned on him heavily in those two playoffs games, and by game 6, he couldn't even go. You know, so it's a trickle down effect. You want to limit
Mhm.
Kimber's minutes for whatever reason, his knee, defense, whatever. You got to get IQ in there. You got to get McBride in there. You can't, in my opinion, you can't ride Rose. I think that's not going to bode well for us either as the season goes on. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I think at the game we were talking about how Quick seems a little more poised and together. He's not throwing up those wild shots like he was doing before. So I think they definitely been talking to him and working on him because he might have to play some more minutes.
Who's that? Oh, IQ. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. Do you still think that McBride is most likely to, maybe see the minutes as far as those three rookies? Because if preseason is any indication, he's
No.
going to be on the bottom of those three guys.
It really depends on how our guards go though, because if Rose can't play a lot of minutes, Kimba can't play a lot of minutes. Quick, we don't really know. Like he has to show some maturity, but he does have games where he come down and he chucks. He throw the ball up from half court. So I mean, depending on what Tibbs and like I said, Tibbs is very temperamental. He might pull him just to play the rookie. Who knows? That's that's one of those in the air type things.
But McBride didn't get in the whole entire preseason. He might have got 5 minutes in
Yeah.
4 games.
Mhm.
Um, that's
You don't know.
I think IQ is gonna get IQ and maybe even Burke over
Mhm.
Yeah.
McBride,
Well, Burke
maybe.
did play some point guard last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Middleton, Grimes will play before McBride. I just think that Tibbs don't know how to chill. I just think that he's
He
gonna
don't.
ride Rose. I don't think he's gonna be like, oh well,
That's his guy.
Rose can't do this every single game. Let me just get some so and so in here, play the position for at least 6 minutes to give him.
Yeah,
I don't
that's his
see it
guy.
happening. You ready? You ready?
I
You
The
ready?
mean,
You
same
in
thing you
there?
do with Taj. You do the same thing with Taj.
he does. He does. I was gonna say that. Absolutely.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, and you figure even with Kemba missing a game, he missed a preseason game, right?
He did.
We did not see McBride's. You would have thought McBride would have got some extended minutes.
Right.
Burks missed the game. You would have thought maybe quickly get solidified at the two. Even Knox comes in a little bit more,
Right.
and it ended up being Grimes. So I
That's
think so far, I think what Tibbs has seen, it's Grimes and Jericho and then and then McBride. So it's gonna be interesting. It's definitely gonna be interesting.
It is. Do you think McBride playing was a knock on Knox,
that's
or
what I was
he
about to
wanted to
say.
see him? He wanted to see Grimes.
I'm hoping he wanted to see him because, like I was saying before, we Knox has to show us something. Like he's not even getting in the rotation. He's not even getting called at all. So I'm not sure what's going on with him. Like, is he not practicing hard? Is he not showing up? Because how you not, get any run?
No, he played,
But I'm
except for
saying like
last.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Okay. For the you talk about the last game.
The last game
Okay.
where we needed a big, you know, because Mitch was doing, was barely playing because he had just came back. Taj early foul trouble. I thought he could have saw at least a couple minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking he wanted to get a look at Grimes, but you never know. But I will tell you this: Grimes showed more in his time on the court than Knox showed in his time.
He sure
So
did. He
whatever
had
the
some
reason,
critical shots.
right? Reason for
Sorry.
whatever the reason for putting him in there, he showed out when he was there, and he played within the flow of the offense. He took those shots. He was aggressive, even though he missed. He kept shooting, and he was able to hit a big one for us. So I think I think when you get that opportunity with Tibbs, he has to trust you. When you get your opportunity, if you play very well, then the next time he's gonna look your way. If you
Mhm.
don't, that door is gonna close. You may or may not
Quick,
get another
quickly.
chance. Right,
Door's gonna close quickly.
right,
Yep, and
right, right.
it's hard to pick that lock.
You're right about that. You're right
Unless he
about that.
like you, because I think last year he liked Obi. That's why he kind of let him in there. He was yelling at him and stuff like that. So unless he like you, I think he give you a fair chance. But if you're not one of on the top 10 or in his, then forget about it.
But I think
Forget
the
about it.
like is based on how you play, though.
Mhm.
Yeah,
He like you if you playing hard and he sees something in you. He likes you. If
yeah,
I don't even know if it's like or not. I mean, he'll play you, but if he ain't feeling you for whatever reason, forget it.
Mhm.
Like you might as well just go to another team. Like
can't
it's
even get
just
off the bench. You know?
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Shout out to Walter Blackman Jr. I love your podcast. I'm in Virginia by way of the South Bronx, South Bronx, KRS last night.
KRS.
BX baby, BX baby.
um, JJP, New York City. Tips played O because Leon Rose said so. LOL.
Nah,
Any any wow. Any I was just reading the chat. Anything else?
what you saying? Wow for? Let us know. I'm not on the chat.
Yeah. Uh, Somebody said something about Knox and they would
Chris
rather
Copeland.
have Chris Copeland. Wow.
Wow. Now you took it back with him.
Right. Anything else about the preseason that stood out before we move on to next week's games?
I
I
mean,
see a lot of improvement. I see a lot of improvement from our rookies from last year.
Oh,
That was
definitely.
definitely that was definitely a good look to see that. Definitely.
The biggest thing that stood out to me was that last game and the extended minutes with Obi and Randall on the floor. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people was asking for it.
Hmm.
I did not think
Yeah, that was good.
it. I didn't think it was possible. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like I didn't think Obi had reached that level yet.
Hmm.
Um, but not only did he play great, but he played great prior to Randall even coming back into the game.
Right.
Yeah, he did.
You know what I mean? And I said it, a couple of shows ago. I think he's taken a bigger step defensively than he has offensively. So
Yes.
Yeah.
it's gonna be interested to see if we get to see more of that small ball lineup. Um, hopefully he's not relying upon it, but he's
Right.
I
using
hope
it.
not.
I think Tibbs even said it. That he did it because he needed a change. You know what I mean? At that
Right.
time, we weren't playing very well. You know what I
Right.
mean? So even if it's that circumstance where he's trying something to spark the club, spark the team.
Right. Right.
We know we have that option down there. So I'm I like that.
I
And does go ahead, Chris.
I have a question. What do y'all feel about Randall this year? Do y'all see anything
Let me just
different?
finish this
Same
up.
old?
And
Okay.
let me just finish this, and then we'll answer that question. I think that shows a little something about Tibbs too, like one, doing something different and saying this is not working. Let me go, let and go with this, as opposed to it didn't work last year. I'm not gonna go to it. You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
and I think Obi showed him, that yeah, we can do this if we need to, we can. So hopefully they do get a chance to go back to it. And some fans, when they have a take on a player, that's it. Once the narrative is set, the narrative is set. You can't change it no matter what. I try to just change as the player change.
Yeah.
Like I said, what I said about Obi, and that's what I believed about Obi based on
Hmm.
last year, his draft
Last year.
position, the minutes he got, how he looked, that he didn't have a bankable skill, in my opinion, other than him being athletic. And yeah, he shot the three some. But I also said that I thought he would have the biggest leap because he had the biggest way to go, the longest way to go.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
did say he would make the biggest leap. And he did.
Hmm.
And he did. And now when I look at his game, I could see skill. Like I could see him putting the ball on the floor. I could see him shooting off the dribble. I could see him shooting a little off the catch, especially with the three-pointer. His rebounds is up. He had 8
Hmm.
Yeah.
rebounds in one of these pieces. Now that's what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
now I can look at him and now I can see point to something specifically on the court, and just kudos to him. And even in the summer league, you can see right away that his defense is better. And I want to say, and I know a lot of people don't agree. I think IQ's defense is better. I see him out there fighting, over screens as well. I see him, out there, trying to stay in front of his man. If they drive, cutting them off, and what have you, is better. Now, is he a defensive stopper? No, he's not. But I think his defense definitely has improved, um, over last season.
Great.
All right. So,
Um,
Chris, yeah, go ahead,
that's
Tone.
no, that's I was gonna ask Chris what was her question.
Oh, I said I just want to know, did y'all see any difference in Randall, or is he the same Randall? Because I think I saw some stuff that, that he was working on, but then there was some glimpses, of the same Randall with the dribbling and the spin and pass out. So how do you guys feel about him this year from based on the preseason?
I think he had a decent preseason. But he's one guy I'm not worried about, man. I loved Randall. I
Mhm.
love the signing initially based off
Mhm.
of that trajectory of always improving year after year. I don't
Yeah.
think it stops. I don't think it stops for him. If one thing that we've learned from his time with just New York is he makes adjustments. He works on his game every year. He improves every year. Um, Yeah, I have total faith in him, man. And I think that the additions we brought in, and then the growth of the players that came back, I think it's
Mhm.
just going to be easier for him.
Mhm.
Um, and he hit that game winner. He struggled with
Yeah,
game winners last year, so and I think last year he would have took a three, even though we were up. I mean, even though
Oh,
the game was tied, I think he would have
right.
took a three. Even
Yeah.
yeah,
during the course of last year, he stopped that and started to, if we didn't need a three, he wasn't shooting that.
Right.
And I think
Right.
mm,
Right.
he's always learning, always getting better. I'm definitely I'm happy with it. His play.
I am too. I think he's also trying to find his way, and I like that in the first few quarters or whatever, he just lets the game comes to him. He doesn't come to him. He doesn't try to dominate the ball. If Kimber's bringing it up, initiating the offense, he's not running to them, clapping his hands to for the ball. He's just letting them do what they do. RJ brings it down. He doesn't seem to have a problem with that. I like that about him. But in money time, I do need the ball, him to be a part of the play, and I definitely saw that in Detroit because I was wondering. I talked about this earlier. Look, this is like an equal opportunity offense. They just passing it around. Whoever got the ball, take the shot. All right, but I don't know if this guy should be taking as many shots as Randall is taking. Like I think your best players got to take at the end of the day the most shots. And in that Detroit game, he just took over. He's like, all
Hmm.
right, this doesn't seem to be working. Um, and then he came up big for us in the Washington game. I think the only question I have is, can he play off the ball?
Right.
Where other people are setting him up and now he gets the ball and he catch and shoot. It's like he'll play off the ball, but then when he get it, it's like the offense resets. Now
Right.
he's
yeah,
dribbling
yeah.
again, and now he's looking for,
And
like,
that's what I was talking about. Yeah,
can you play off the ball where if Kimber is doing whatever, he pass you the ball, you just shoot it, or fake take a drop, and you just keep moving it. I'm not. I want to see more. I want to see more games to see if he's getting used to playing off the ball.
I think we've saw glimpses of it, but
Hmm.
that's when he becomes like a spot up 3-point shooter. Now, if
Right.
he's not behind that 3-point line, he's gonna have to take some dribbles to get into that
Right.
mid range.
Right.
His mid
Right.
range
Right.
is deadly though, so
Right.
you know what
Right.
I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
But one thing that I've noticed, and I believe Tibbs pointed it out a little bit when he said, Fournier and Kemba, they have been a little bit too unselfish. So
Yes.
yeah,
I've witnessed that as
Hmm.
well, where
I agree.
there's times where it looked like they can make a move. Like
Right.
if you
yeah,
know these guys, if you've seen their game, they were able to maybe make a play
Right.
certain times in the game, but they would see Randall and then oh, this is his team. I
Right.
yeah,
gotta give it
yeah,
to him.
Right.
So
Right.
that is somewhat of that, not really a concern, but that's where I'm saying we're gonna take 20 games or so before everybody is on the same page. As far as Randall's probably gonna have to tell some of these guys, yo, take that.
Take
Like
that.
yeah,
you know what I mean? You got it.
Right.
And once we get there where it's not thinking,
Right.
it's
yeah.
just playing and
Right.
reacting and making the right reads. Deadly team we're gonna be.
Yeah, definitely. This is where I wish we had the 6 preseason games or whatever, but it's okay. We will work it out. Um, and it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment for
Definitely.
everybody. But that second team is smoking. That second
Yeah,
team when they come in, they
they on
smoking.
fire. I got
Yeah.
one more question. What do y'all feel
Mhm.
about RJ this year? Do you see any improvements? I seen a little bit with
Yeah.
the jump shot. So what do y'all think?
48% for three in 4 games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, his catch and shoot game, you know, it just when he gets that shot behind the three, I just feel like it's going down every time.
Hmm.
Like I said the other day, as time goes on, hopefully he'll get a little better at finishing at the basket. He was finishing some the other game, get a little better at that. But I like what he's doing. Just play tough, tough defense. One of those games he had 7 rebounds, 6 assists. I would love that. 15.7 rebounds, 6 assists, good defense. Wow. That would
Yeah.
be fabulous. Um, yeah. So I like what I'm seeing from him.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into next week's game. So we play Boston. I'm all excited. The
Yeah, I'm
games
excited
are
about
about to
Boston.
begin. We play
Orlando.
Boston Wednesday, and then we got a home and away with Orlando Friday and Sunday. So if we got those, let's put that up. So everybody is 0-0. But I don't know if that's I think that's the first game for Boston. By the time we play Orlando, I don't know if that's their first two games or not. Not sure.
Mm,
Um, Al Horford is in isolation due to a positive COVID test, and Jalen Brown is as well, I believe. And so it's still
mm,
up in the air whether those two will be available when we play them Wednesday.
mm,
Marcus Smart is starting actually, and Schroeder is coming off the bench. They have a new coach, and Emi Udoka, if you remember, I believe he was assistant coach for San Antonio.
Hmm.
mhm,
And the Vegas over and under for wins for Boston is 45.5, right? So ESPN has, I don't think this is correct. They have Schroeder, Smart, Tatum, Robert Williams, the third, and I believe Horford I left out starting. But from what I'm understanding, Smart is starting and Schroeder is
coming off the
coming off the
bench.
bench. Hmm.
That may be the normal situation, but maybe with the two guys out, maybe that's
Ah,
why they're moving Schroeder up
right,
with
because
Brown out.
Brown may not be. That's a good point.
Hmm.
Yeah, and they got a lot of centers. They got
They
Robert
got
Williams,
cancer, right?
Cantor, um, Horford. Was there one more?
I
Is it just
believe
those
so.
three?
No, there's one more. I can't
Russell Lopez? No, he
think of
was he
who,
on
but
there? The other
I
one.
I thought they had one more, but anyway, that's um. So well, let's talk about Boston first, and then we'll come back and talk about Orlando. Now, are you guys one of the ones that's like, oh, I want to play a team where they're full strength, so we know who we really, we beat them, when they were at their best, or are you of the mindset you take them as they come and you get a win as you get a win?
I
um,
want to
s-
win.
yeah, I mean, especially first game of the season. I
Hmm.
don't care who's out, who's you know what I mean. I want to win. Maybe
Right.
mid season, you know,
Hmm.
and maybe if we're exceeding, uh, I'll say Knicks fans' expectation because our
Hmm.
expectation is a little bit higher than Vegas and ESPN.
Hmm.
So if we're exceeding our own expectations, then
Hmm.
there probably will come a point where I do want to see teams at full strength just to make sure
Hmm.
it's legit. You know what I
Right.
mean,
Right. Right.
or
Right.
just
Right.
to make sure we bring in that same fight when it comes down to the playoffs. Like, yeah, we beat them at full strength. We beat
Right.
for confidence reasons. But right,
Right.
Hmm.
first half of the third of the season, I'm taking the wins as they come.
That's it. That's it.
Definitely. How do you think we match up against Boston as without
With
without
the team they
Brown?
have now, with the
Right,
team they're gonna
without
show up
Brown,
with.
right, with the team that's gonna show up. Now they may be out, but as of now, they're in COVID protocol. And as I was reading, they're not sure if they'll be out and ready to play by Wednesday. So they may be at full strength, but as of now, it's unclear.
I'll say this: if they play, it's still an advantage for us
Yeah.
because I'm sure they haven't been practicing. I'm sure you know what I mean. So it's going to be some
Hmm.
chemistry things that they're going to have to work through once those guys are back anyway. So
Hmm.
I mean, I like to look at teams and prepare for everybody to be there, and then if somebody's not, plus for us.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but even if they were at full strength, I like our odds because I think they're gonna have some chemistry issues early. They're gonna have some not just with the players, but just learning the system, the new coach,
Hmm.
new
Hmm.
philosophy.
Hmm.
Breaking habits from the previous coach. to the new coach. So early on, I liked the matchup. But then come mid season, towards the end of the season, that's where we're really gonna know who teams are, who we are, who we're playing, who they are,
Right.
and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, this is a big game also because it's a divisional game. I mean, I don't know
Yeah,
if a game could be big like the first game of the season, but you know, these could be part of tiebreakers.
it
When it
could.
comes down to playoff seeding, we're playing at home. I like our chances against Boston with or without them. But this is what's the guy's name? Tony,
Oh,
something
be
smooth.
smooth, be
Be
smooth.
smooth. Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna get him on. We're gonna get him on. I might get him on tomorrow. I got to link with Sim and figure out,
Oh,
what I mean, what the
that would be
logistics
great.
are for Wednesday's pregame. But
Right.
if it don't look if it looks iffy and I could get him tomorrow, I might get him on tomorrow.
Oh, that would be great if we could get him for the
Yeah.
pregame because he would definitely be able to shed some light on this and be smooth probably had him winning even without even with even
Those
without
guys.
those two players. Let me ask you this before we move on to Atlanta. Noel is out, it seems like. Um, behind Taj and Mitch, do you think Tibbs goes with Sims or he goes with that small ball lineup if he needs to?
Mm,
Mm,
That's a great question. I mean, obviously, prior to the last game, I would have said Sims 100%. Um, I really don't know. I mean, I honestly, if I had to guess, I would think the small ball
yeah.
because Tibbs is gonna go with familiarity. Now, even
Hmm.
though there's not much familiarity between Obi
Hmm.
and Randall playing together at the same time,
Hmm.
there's more familiarity with them just playing. You
Right,
know what
And
I mean?
it's
So
and it's
right,
the trust thing we talked about.
right,
You trust him.
right. And they're not that
Yeah.
tall. I mean, Robert Williams, he's a
good
quick
point.
jumper and he's a very good shot blocker, but it's not because he's really tall, it's because his timing is good,
Mm,
almost like Noel. Noel is tall too, but his timing. So I think that, it's definitely not going to be a height advantage, if we go to a small ball lineup. The same thing with Cantor. There's no way if they go with Cantor, it might even be to our advantage, actually, right? Cantor will not be able to guard Randall. He can't even guard players his own size and foot speed, right?
Yeah.
So, we may have to do that because I'm not sure where Mitch's conditioning is,
Yeah.
right? And Taj gives us a great effort, but it's 48 minutes. Do you think Taj and Mitch can play
split that.
48 minutes? Maybe, maybe.
Somebody
Um
gonna be in foul trouble. Somebody gonna be in foul trouble.
yeah, yeah,
And that contributed to Obi playing with Randall because Taj was in foul
Yeah.
trouble, I believe.
He
You know
right.
what
fouled
I mean?
out.
Yeah, fouled out. So I mean, at that point, I don't know if we even would have seen that had Taj been available.
Yeah.
Right.
And one last thing, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm rocking with the small ball. I think that we'll see that first, just because I think if Sims was a definite rotation guy at this point, I
Right.
think he would have got that last roster spot. The
That's
fact
right.
that
Yeah.
He's not
the
even
fact
on up. That's right. That's right. He didn't even
yeah,
get the last spot. So that's
right.
not even an option.
I mean, he can't play. It's an option, but I think
Right.
if Tibbs had him solidified,
Hmm.
you know what I mean. I think he would have got that spot. The fact that
Is
he's
he
on it,
traveling with the team?
I believe so. I
He
believe
is.
so.
Oh, okay. So he can still play.
Yeah, he can still play, but
Okay.
I still think Tibbs want him to earn it still.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Ally wise, Randall dropped 45 on Cantor. So if they put Cantor out there, that's barbecue chicken.
And he got a bone to pick because of the comments. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Stephen Fox said Turkish chicken at that. Oh wow, that's gonna be a great game. I mean, I'm gonna be in the house, Chris, Tone, Sim, And I'm not sure how many MBK fans also bought tickets, so we'll get a chance to meet. We're doing the pregame at Legends Bar on 33rd Street from 3:30 to 5:30. And I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me move my mic. The Queen's Court. I got my gear, about four or
Yeah,
Okay.
five
I got my hoodie. Yeah.
t-shirts
Okay.
came, and my decals. So I'm good. I'm good. I'm gonna order some more too. And they got the order right. Last time they had the logo to the side. They did it right this time. All right. Anything else about Boston before we move on to Orlando?
Just let's get that win.
Yeah, I want
Let's
that win. That's a momentum thing for us. I think if we get that first win, we here. I think if we get that, we lose, we're gonna be fighting from the bottom.
right.
Sometimes people don't really rise up to that. I just hope that we win it so we can stay on top because we riding off of momentum of winning these games on the preseason.
Yeah, I
Quiet,
mean that was
quiet money said he'll be there.
Okay.
at the game.
Hmm.
Can't wait to see you again, Quiet Money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. Um, I mean, one of the things before we move on to Orlando, talking about the preseason that I liked about that Washington game was the no quit.
Yeah.
The Knicks just kept plugging away and plugging. I mean, I rewatched the game. I think it was 19 points in the fourth quarter, I want to say, right?
Yeah.
And
18, I
like
think.
with yeah, and like
And
with three minutes left or something, it was still 10. They just kept plugging. I mean, Rose kept us in there. He
Rose
kept
was,
us in
yeah,
there.
he was on fire.
Yeah. And then, and he was just a maestro in terms of, when to shoot the three,
Yeah.
when to go into the lane, when to pass the ball. Like he was just in flow that game. And I just like the fact that he hit Grimes for that big shot. He didn't have to.
Yeah, he
He
didn't.
saw him over there waving his hands and he had missed some shots, but that was the right play and he gave it to him. And I
Hmm.
think that helps a young guy's confidence, in my opinion.
Definitely.
What
Hey,
you
I
gonna
tell
say,
you what,
Tom?
he had the confidence because
Yeah.
he a rookie and he calling for the ball. You
Yeah,
you
that's
you
true. You
bet
saw him, right?
That's right.
you barely see that from rookies. So
Right.
you,
Right.
he out there like, yo,
Don't do that. My boy
I'm
Obi
open.
was calling for it last year.
He was
He was
Oh,
calling for
calling.
it. I don't know if he wanted it though.
I
You
only
right
I
about
only
that. You right
I
about that.
only
He
see
probably didn't
Obi
want it, but
I
he was
only
calling
see
for it.
I
He
only
was
see
like,
Obi call for the lobs. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
he's big on that. But
Right.
a
Right.
lot of
Right.
times he was behind that 3 point line, and he ain't know you ain't know if he wanted it or not.
yeah, he was
Right.
scared of the three last year. He definitely was.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we play a home and away with Orlando. So we're at the Gardens. Oh wow. So it's two games at the Garden, which is great. I think that let
Yeah.
me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you right now, the Garden is going to be rocking.
Yes.
I was in the building for a preseason game. The
And it
tension was high. Like if we was down 19, nobody was leaving. Everybody
nope.
was clapping defense, defense. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So against Boston, Orlando, trust me, Knick fans are in it already.
Yeah.
So what we got? Wendell, a lot of rookies are getting their contracts extended, and Wendell Carter was one of them. He was traded to Chicago in that Vucevic trade, and they extended him 4 years, 50 million. Mo Bamba, if he's not starting, he at least has a larger role. Remember, they have another coach now, so he didn't really get a lot of time under who was that Clifford, I believe.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
right now he's starting, or at least he's getting a larger role. Vegas over and under for wins for Orlando Magic is 22.5, right? So
Mm.
as far as Vegas is concerned, and most people think Orlando is not a great team at this point.
They
It's the
scrappy though.
beginning of the season. You don't know. And ESPN has Cole Anthony starting, Suggs, who's the rookie out of Gonzaga, Terrence Rollins, Okiki, and Wendell Carter. I have no idea. I mean, you look at these preseason rosters and you try to get an idea who's starting. They change from game to game because coaches are trying to get a look, at players. So who knows who's gonna start? Any concern this early in the season that the Knicks will take this team lightly?
No, I don't think so. I don't
Nope.
think so.
Nope.
I think
If
they ready. They got a lot to prove. So I think the energy level and the play is gonna be high just because of that.
yeah, if there's a concern for me, it's really, you don't, how Tips has everybody prepared, has the team prepared for team, but these are guys that I don't know how much video is out there for them. You know what I mean? I don't know how much
Mhm.
the scouting report is gonna
Right.
benefit. So they
Yeah,
they could legit be surprised by the outcome. I mean, by the output from Orlando, but I'm just being
Mhm.
not optimistic. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word I'm trying to say, but they don't know what we're getting from a Cole Anthony, from a Mo
Right.
Bamba who had limited
Right.
minutes, you know what I
Right.
mean,
Right. Right.
and things like that. So they could be a little bit surprised, but with this team, 48 minutes by the end of the game, we get that dub. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay. And what about playing them back to back? Do you think we get both of them? It's kind of hard to beat teams twice in a row, but this is not a very good team. But they're not a very good team, but we're not clicking on all cylinders, ourselves. Do you think we get both of them?
I do.
I think we do. I think we
Okay.
do.
Yeah,
I
I'm.
think we
I'm.
got enough weapons to kind of like, even if they match up against us, I think we got some stuff we can throw at them to throw whatever their plans is off. So I think we get all three wins.
Okay. D Public Enemy, the Magic young core can ball. Don't take them lightly.
Definitely, we're not taking them lightly. Just saying that we match up better with them. So I think our pieces are a little better.
Yeah. I think so too. But I think that might be their first home game. I'm not sure if they play Wednesday. Kevin Middleton, man. Shout out to Ron Cleveland. If
Yeah.
Hmm.
if 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 we lose to Magic, Tibbs will change that second unit quick. He might change the first. He might change the
You
first
know,
first
shoot.
unit. The second unit, because they're clicking, and Tibbs want to get the win. That second unit may get more time if the first unit is not clicking. We will definitely see. I think I would like to go 3-0. If you guys haven't already, check out um, the show we did with Chuck D Saturday. Sim went through the Knicks schedule, and there's this I think it's in February,
Hmm.
this stretch of games from February to, like, I don't know, mid-March. That's crazy. Like,
Mm,
so, like, this is the time to be stacking wins. Like, you
yeah,
cannot lose. I don't care if you're playing them 4 games in a row. Like, you just can't move. You can't lose to Orlando. Like, we need it. Um, because listen, the schedule is tough, and so you want to stack as many wins as you can
that's
before
right.
then. Any other thing? Any other?
Yeah, I just want to point out. I hope we go 3-0. I think there's a good chance for it. Um, but on top of us winning all three games, I'm really hoping Kemba just goes off game one, with
Hmm.
all that energy, excitement, being
Hmm.
home, playing his former team, this and that. And then I hope Fournier comes back and just destroys the Magic for 2 games back to back. I hope he has like
Right.
50 or 60 points between the 2 games. Fournier does. That would
Yeah.
be awesome.
Revenge games for both of them, right?
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. Shout out to the chat. A la wise. Burks will be there Wednesday. That's who Boston better worry about. Okay.
Yeah, that sweet shot.
Um, Stop it videos. We're gonna go 2-1. I think we either lose to the Celtics or one Magic game.
Mm,
I hope not. Um,
I think we
I-
got the Celtics game and the
yeah.
Magic game. It's the second one, but I
The
think we're gonna
second
pull it
Magic
out.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're gonna pull it out though. It's gonna be a grind though, because like you say, you play a team twice. They're gonna
Right.
pick up some key defensive schemes, some key offensive schemes. So you're gonna be countering that.
Right.
But I think Tibbs is good with that. So I definitely think it's gonna be a grind.
Right.
It's probably gonna be like that Washington Wizards game. I hope not, but it might be.
The thing with Orlando is, Kemba could very well go off again
Mhm.
against them, and I don't think he has. I think he has the advantage, with Cole Anthony, who's not a defender either. If
Right.
you know what I mean. So
Right.
if we win the first one, I think it's a lot for 3-0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stop It Video says, nah, I think it's a bad matchup. Their strength is their guard spot. I don't know if Kimba and Evan can keep up with Suggs and T Ross, but I still think we dub, even though it's a bad matchup. Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. Just the we kind of talked about it, but we talked about it just in terms of Kimba, but just in general, any concerns about our perimeter defense when we going up against these tough guards?
Is Suggs projected to start?
I
And if
believe
so,
so.
at the two,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about I don't know where ESPN got that. I think Suggs is gonna start. Cole Anthony, I'm not sure. Quiet Money Cole Anthony is not impressive to me.
I agree.
Yeah, Terrence Ross is the Nick killer.
Yeah, we have
Kerry
problems
Powell.
with him.
Yeah.
We have problems with Ross.
Yeah, but I'll bench. And I don't think he's going to be starting. So, I mean, I like Burks. I like the matchup with him and Burks
Hmm.
easily. I think Burks can give him the same kind of offensive production back at
Hmm.
him. So
Hmm.
I think they kind of wash each other out. Um, their biggest concern for me personally is what type of leap a Mo Bamba could take. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like those unknowns.
Hmm.
yeah.
Like
Hmm.
if these guys reach their potential, and I can't front even a slugs.
Right.
Like if is he gonna come in and try to be in the running for rookie of the year? If is he gonna give that kind of output?
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's stuff that I think you can't really project. So there's no game plan for that. You're not gonna really look at his college film and be like,
Yeah.
oh,
Right.
this is what he's gonna do in the NBA. You just don't know what he's gonna be. So the unknowns are the concerns for me. Those guys that are they
Right.
gonna just step up and reach their potential off jump?
Right. Right. Yeah, I'm not concerned. Like I said, our offense, in my opinion, is going to offset any defensive disadvantage we may have up top. And maybe I'm being a little naive about it. The first 20 games is what I like to look at, but I just think our offense is just boatloads better than it was last season. I don't think we have the phone up because we are remote this week. Somebody was asking we doing call-ins, Steph. We usually will. We'll be back with the call-ins um, next week. We'll be back with the call-in next week. So I just want to do this last segment called Over Under, and I'm writing it down so we could come back. We're gonna come back to it next week. All right. So over and under. Randall scores 20 or more points in each game this upcoming week. Tony, over or under? At
20,
least 20.
over 20. I'll say
Okay.
over.
In each game. Okay.
Mhm.
I say
Chris?
over as well.
All right.
What about you?
I say over.
Okay.
I say over. Um, the Knicks average over 115 points this week. So the three games combined, they average over 115 points.
Mm,
Well, they did 115 over or under. Put it that way.
Mm.
I'm gonna say under.
Can I go even?
That's good too.
You can go
I,
even.
I
I'm
think
gonna let you
it's.
slide.
I'm gonna say right at 115.
Really?
Okay.
I think we're gonna have some grinds. I think the first one and the third game gonna be a grind out. It's probably not
Mhm.
gonna be a lot of points. So that's why I said under.
Okay. Oh, you say under.
Yeah.
I say over. Um, we will be in the top 10 defensively.
I'm gonna say because of Tibbs, I'm gonna say over.
So you
I'm
think we're
sorry.
going to be even better than the top 10?
I'm
No,
sorry, yo. I
no,
gotta
I
push
think
again.
even. I think it's gonna be even. Nah, I thought about it because yeah,
I mean, it's over under, but I'm gonna let y'all slide. All right. So you think we're gonna be at 10, Tony?
Yeah, I call that. I call
yeah,
that.
we gonna be at.
Last show. I think we're gonna be right at 10. Um, you know,
Yeah,
number 10 in the top 10.
Okay.
because we have some areas that need some work.
I'm going to say we're gonna be better than the top
Really?
10. These first three games. We're just talking about these three
Oh, the first
games.
three
Oh,
games.
oh,
We're just talking
oh,
about
Oh, I
these
thought you
three
said
games.
10. I thought you said
oh. Okay,
10.
I'm going
No,
over then.
for these
Then I'm
first,
going over there.
yeah,
Yeah,
for these first, are we gonna be in the top 10 defensively in these, first
yeah.
three
Okay.
games?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I'm
it's
going
over.
over then as well.
Yeah.
So we'll be better than that. I agree. What about top 10 offensively?
I'm also going over.
Yeah, that's over.
Yeah, me too.
We
Think
got
we'll
some
be better.
weapons.
Yeah. And Kimba will play at least 20 minutes each game, over or under.
I'm going over.
Yeah, I'm going over with that.
Me too. All right. I'm going to hold y'all to it.
That's
um,
it.
You got the
next
receipts, I
week.
see.
Right,
She
right,
wrote it
right,
down.
right. I got the receipts. Um, over on offense, and Dennis Davis, appreciate you. We surveyed 100 people. What a name. I like that. Under. Um, we're playing Big D in Boston, or is that Big D? Dennis Davis says Kimba under. He thinks Kimba's gonna play under 20
20.
minutes. Wow.
Mm.
I
D Public Enemy said this the same thing.
don't know. I
The
feel like he
only
gonna
the,
play some minutes for Boston.
He gonna play over.
the
Yeah, I
only
think he gonna
way
play
it's
over in
under is
Boston.
if he sits a game.
Right,
Or if
right,
he hurt.
right. And remember, it was each game, not average 20. It was in each game. Um, so don't come back next year. Oh, I thought you said average.
Nah. We good.
Yeah, I think we were actually. I think we all pretty much, other than the scoring 115 points. I think we all think we're going to do better than
Mhm.
top 10 defense, better than top 10 offense. Well, maybe I should have worded this different, right? Because top 10. All right, that's okay. All right.
We understood it though. We
Okay.
know it.
Okay.
We both
Okay.
think we're gonna be better than
We're gonna be better.
lower than 10.
Mhm. Right.
You
Right.
know.
Better. Right. Because top 10 is the whole 10, just 10. That's what I meant. Yeah. Any last words or anything we didn't get to that you wanted to talk about in terms of the preseason, in terms of the upcoming games, any players, coaching, anything?
Hmm.
I'm just excited to see this year. I mean, they really gave us a lot to cheer about, to be excited about last year. I just want them to continue the momentum. You know,
Um,
that's it.
I think the most shocking thing for me right now is the fact that we haven't seen Noel yet. I
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily put it as concerning yet, but it's right on the borderline of concerning, especially with now. Mitch looked good, but my what I'm wondering is, did we see Mitch because he was closer along than Noel? You know what I
Noel
mean? Like,
said his hamstring though, not knee.
yeah,
Right. Do you think they
Yeah.
but
pushed Mitch back because Noel is hurting?
not I don't want to say push because if I think Mitch wanted to play game one, of
Right,
the preseason.
right.
But I don't know if Noel was back. My question is like, would we have seen Mitch?
Oh,
You
I
know what I
get what
mean?
you're saying.
Oh, I see.
So if Noel was healthy, would have Mitch had have made an
Would they have
appearance?
gave him a little more time?
Yeah.
That's a
Yes.
good point.
That so that's one of the things that's been I've been pondering, and my question to you guys is are you concerned with Noel being not being ready yet?
I
Because
was
he's doubtful
concerned.
for game one. Um, I think
Yeah.
this also put us in that position, to see the small ball lineup. Luckily,
Right. That's
we
true.
can't. I think we can afford the small ball lineup in Boston. When it comes down to Orlando, I don't know. They're a little
Right.
bit taller,
Right.
so
I am concerned. I came into the season concerned about, I'm always concerned about injuries because to me, I want us to
Hmm.
have our best season. And anytime you have injuries, it lowers your ceiling. So you already know how I feel about even injury prone players from the gate. I try to stay away from them. I don't draft them in my fantasy leagues, except for Jaron Jackson, who then I was like, oh, I forgot he had such a injury history. I try to stay away from them, even in fantasy. So I am concerned. Um, I came in concerned about Mitch and underestimating that Noel misses games, as well. So I'm
Yep.
definitely concerned about that, just like I'm concerned about the Kimber Rose thing. So, yeah, Noel didn't play not one game in preseason. Mitch skipped him, right? I thought
mhm,
Mitch was
mhm,
gonna miss.
mhm.
So yes, I am concerned.
And that's a lingering injury. That the hamstring,
Yeah.
you never really know.
Any little tweak, it can sit you back.
We thought he
Yeah,
was playing game three of
right,
preseason, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, well, he ain't played 3 or 4.
right,
And Tibbs is talking about doubtful. Like we'll see. When Tibbs says things like doubtful and we'll see, and what I mean,
right,
it's
right,
usually not gonna happen. You know what I mean? He does he doesn't usually say. What I mean? He's usually very particular in his words, and if you follow
right.
him long enough, you start to read what he's saying without it being said. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I don't think we see Nerlens until game three.
Wow.
If
If
game three,
that
If game three, that's the
it might
earliest.
not be to game four. Is game four at the Garden?
game four is Philly. Do we
Philly?
play
Oof.
Philly? Yeah, so I'm
We might
saying.
see it. I don't know if you want to bring him back for Philly with a hamstring. I don't know.
Right.
We might need him
Right.
back though. We might
We
need
might need
all
him,
our
but I
centers.
don't know. But I think
Yeah.
we probably see him in Philly. They
See,
probably give
because
him some more time.
there's no small ball lineup in Philly. You know what I mean?
No,
Like we
not
can't
with
we can't do that.
Embiid.
So at that
No.
point, we might need Jericho. We might need Nerlens. We might need Taj and Mitch. Like we
Right,
might
right,
need.
right. Because I
For
think
real.
we played them 3 or 4 times. I think, Noel didn't, I mean, Embiid missed 2 of those games.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
dominated
so
the one he played.
especially with Simmons back now too. So we're gonna definitely need it.
yeah, yeah. All right. So what we're saying that the Knicks are going 3-0?
That's what we're saying. That's what I'm
I
saying.
agree. I agree.
Okay. Don't
Yeah,
leave us on the
3-0.
island, Tony.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay.
Three and oh. 3-0 for sure. Um,
3-0.
let's get this first one though, but 3-0.
Yeah, right, right,
Yeah,
right,
for
right,
real.
right. And you guys already know, um on Queen's Court we'll be, doing it by the week and kind of like any trends that we're picking up in terms of how the team play. But for each and every game right here on this channel, Sam the creator will be doing the pregame before each game, the post game after the game, and then the next day there's usually a morning shoot around. So we got you covered for all your Knicks content, all your Knicks needs. And Queen's Court is Monday 8:30. Tony Crow on our brother channel, Knicks and Bruises, usually goes
6:30.
6:30 on Monday. So that
So
double header.
my question for you, Queen, if we have a game on a Monday, are we gonna push everything forward?
Yeah, I
You know
was
what I
gonna
mean?
push it to Tuesday, but you saying just skip that week?
No, I was saying go earlier in the day. Is that a possibility for you? Because I know it is for me. So like,
It
if
is
there's a
actually it is a possibility for me
all right,
to
so
go
maybe
earlier in the day on
if it's
Monday.
game
So
day, I'll do
so I
maybe 4:30. You could do 6:30
right.
or something of that
That's
Okay.
nature.
true.
Okay.
We'll let you guys know, but you know what I mean. I think we're gonna keep this Monday thing going, whether it's game night or
Yeah,
not.
that would be good. I talked about moving it to Tuesday, but you're right. I can go earlier in the day on Monday.
Yeah.
It's just about Sim, who produces the show, for those who don't know, and do all my slides. So all I got to do is do the content and show up. But I did talk to him a little bit today about doing some of that myself so that we can start early if he's not available. So yeah, we'll talk more about it and we'll keep you all posted. I believe it's next. Bear with me, chat. I just want to check. Oh, we got time to work it out because they don't have a game next Monday. It would be the Monday after. Oh no, that's the Giants. We good. We good for a few weeks. So we'll keep you
Okay,
guys posted in terms of what we'll do if the Knicks play on Monday. And it may just be like you said, Tony, just moving it early in the day. I'm available.
cool.
Okay.
But we got to keep, remember if they play Monday, Sim doing that pregame too. So it'd be like a triple header.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
And
All
like I
right.
said, I'll be on tomorrow sometime. Um, I'm gonna push for 6:30, but it may be a little bit
Okay.
early. I know I missed today, but
Okay.
hopefully you guys join me tomorrow on Knicks and Bruises.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Are we out? We out?
I'm yeah, I'm ready to
Yeah.
eat. Yo,
Yeah.
Black, it's
Yeah.
time.
All right. Be
Salute, Queens.
easy, Nick family. Appreciate you, Tony. Appreciate you, Chris. Appreciate you in the chat. Those that's listening, um, not in that are not in the chat, and those that are gonna listen later. Appreciate you all for your support, and we'll see you next week. Be easy.
Salute.
Oh, nothing but Knicks. If you are going to the game and you are free, go to the live podcast at Legends on at 3:30. And you can email him at srussell at nothingbutnicks.com. Yeah, we'll definitely be there doing that pregame. I'll be there, Tony will be there, Sim will be there. I'm not sure who else in terms of the podcast. Chris will be there. Shout out to Nick's Real Talk as well. Appreciate you. I get a chance to meet Divine tomorrow and a few other people that I haven't seen. Yeah,
That's what's up.
definitely. I'm excited about that. Must be vaccinated and have your card with you, and not just your card, your ID.
Yes, your
I went to
ID.
dinner with somebody who just had the card. They matching the card name with your ID. So don't come bringing somebody else's card thinking you're getting in. It's not going to happen.
Nope.
All right, we out.
Unless you're a
All right,
junior.
family.
Right, right, right. Exactly. Be easy, family. See you
All
next
right,
week.
family.